Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, though granted every video in this series or journey, whatever you want to call it, will be very different. Mostly because I'm just trying out new things to see what sticks and learn more about myself and, ultimately recover. And today I thought, one of the consequences of an eating disorder is that you become very self-focused and very self-obsessed and very self-conscious. And that's not necessarily a consequence of an eating disorder, it's part of what causes it too. Just being extremely aware of what your body looks like, how you're feeling, what other people are thinking of you, all of those types of thoughts. And I say all of that because I know about myself that I have an extreme tendency to only consider myself in situations, and when I'm feeling poorly, I'll shut off from the rest of the world and I will isolate myself. And I hate doing that, especially when it's my family, because when none of them know what's going on and I'm all of a sudden not wanting to see anybody, it makes it very hard and I feel very guilty for doing it. And I have wonderful siblings who are understanding and love me despite the fact that I'm sometimes an awful person. But one of the ways that I have always loved to share words of appreciation to others is through letters. So I figured I would spend some time today getting out of my own head and writing to my siblings. And we shall see how this goes. I have all these different letters. And let's see what we want to use. Those are just envelopes. Oh, we can use, I have a couple thinking of you letters. We'll use those. They have these little pink envelopes. So we'll do that. Alright. So, let's see what to write. I always date my letters just because letters are memories, and I always like to put when it happened because it's sort of a time capsule. And you can, when you read a letter, you can kind of almost see what that person was going through in their life at that moment. Or at least, because it takes a lot of thought to write a letter. It's like a glimpse into their world at that present moment. So, let's get writing. And I don't know when I write these if I should read them out loud as I write, so you can hear what I'm thinking too, or if we just write in silence. First, it actually requires me to know what I want to write. Which is always the hard part, to figure out where to start. Let's just start with, oh, thank you. There we go. Thank you for loving me, especially when I am being very unlovable. I feel like that's a good start. Coffee break. You'll have to let me know how you all drink your coffee. I drink mine black in the morning, and most often I just drink mine black. I don't like dark roast. I have to have, at most, I only do a medium roast, otherwise it's too bitter for me. But I don't take anything in it, and I will only drink the occasional latte, mostly if I'm going to a coffee shop or something. But I've learned how to make them recently, which is fun, but I'm not very good at it. But let me know how you drink your coffee, because I'm always curious. And I'm also stalling because I don't know where to go from here in my letter. So I'm just telling my sister that, I deeply appreciate her love for me and apologize for the fact that I've been holding her at a distance for a while. And that I love how she's always here for me to talk to, and I deeply appreciate how much she cares for me. It's always weird when you have a thought and you're halfway through writing it and then you realize that that's not exactly the thought you wanted to say, but you're writing in pen, so you can't erase it. I also do this to myself because as a bit of a perfectionist, if I don't write in pen, it's like I'm not committing to what I'm saying. Because I can't erase it. I can only scratch it out, and that doesn't look pretty. So I pause. Which is also good because it makes me truly think through what I want to say. And not just write the first thing that comes to mind. Not that that's a bad thing, because I do have a tendency to just write free flow thought, which, like, you should. Just as if you were in a real conversation with them. But letter writing teaches you to be reflective, which can become part of how you speak then. Because it makes you take your side of the conversation very seriously. And also not focus on how the other person is going to respond. This is just you expressing how you feel about them. The only problem with pen is it gets ink all over your fingers. Gosh. Okay. I'm 2/3 of the way through. I'm getting in a good flow here. Just telling her that, hey, it's amazing to me how our bond has grown during the times that we're separated. Where, when we were living in the same house and when we were roommates and we saw each other every day, we still never talked. And now when we're separated by distance, which is not a major difference, we're still in the same state and relatively close to each other, so we can see each other quite often. There's still a different level of intentionality, which makes it more meaningful, which also makes me then feel a need to apologize for not being intentional in the relationship when she's trying to be. Okay, the letter is finished for that one. It's a little shaky in parts, but now we shall address it too. I wonder if all of you know cursive. I learned it. I was still of the generation that we learned it in school, and I had to do most of my writing during my early years in cursive. And now I tend to write in print more so, but I love cursive. Still love the feel of it, and whenever I'm addressing letters or cards or fancier things to people, I will write in cursive. It's just that added bit of elegance that I appreciate. So that letter is finished. I want to write another one, but I think I'm gonna hold off, give myself space to think more about this next one, and we'll write that one later. But there we go. I'd love to hear your thoughts on letter writing, and if you still do it, and who you write to, and when you write to them. I'm always interested to see if there's any of us old schoolers out there. But yeah, that was very therapeutic for me, and I want to make letter writing more of a practice in my life, because I'm very bad at taking time to just pause and sit and really consider how I feel about something or what I think about something. And letter writing really forces me to have that space and take the focus off of myself. And while there's other things that I want to put in my life where I actually take time to receive from other people and receive from God, and receive, that's a weird way of talking about a quiet time or something, but space where I'm listening for God and opening myself to him, or listening to other people and really taking in the world, that type of situation. While I want to develop those sorts of practices, I struggle with being easily distracted. So for now, it's really just creating some type of quiet practice, quiet reflective practice, like letter writing. Baby steps is how I'm thinking of it. Starting with something I love and making it a habit. So we'll see how this goes. And I'll meet you next time for my next entry.